All right, yeah, there we go. Now I can see. Y'all ready to get lit? Live from Jacksonville, Florida. Vodcasting around the world. You heard me right. That's vodcasting with a V. We want to welcome you to the Lit TV show, where we love, learn, and leverage information together. Because what we don't know can literally take us back to the Stone Ages. Are y'all ready to get litty? Welcome your host, E.
Mama, there goes that man.
C.
The boy's smart, but he crazy.
Weston.
Time to get lit, yeah. Ooh, yo, we so lit, yeah. Ooh, time to get lit, yeah. Ooh, come and get lit, yeah. Ooh, EC got it, yeah. Ooh, EC got it, yeah. Ooh, faith, money, love, news. West talk about it. If it's real, we gon' talk about it. And if it ain't, dog, we don't talk about it. Grab the whole fam in the drink. It's time to think about how you think, yeah. Time to get lit, yeah. Ooh, come and get lit, ooh, yeah. Time to get lit, yeah.
Getting ready to go down. It looks like everything is working the way that it's supposed to work.
Hey.
Come on here, Charity Bell. Finally got this thing lit, right? We did it.
Yeah.
What's going on, Facebook? What's going on? I'm your man, EC Weston.
And I'm Charity.
Sitting beside the hottest baby mama on the planet Earth.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, she my wife too. She my wife too. Today's webisode is A Delay is Not
a Denial.
And we know here on the Lit TV show is where we love,
Leverage,
and learn information together. And today we have an amazing show put together for you guys.
Yes, it's gonna be great.
Right here on Facebook Live. Who's sponsoring the show today?
Today we have our sponsor, Luxury Vacations.
Hold on. Say that one more time.
Luxury Vacations.
That I'm gonna let you finish, but they're like near and dear to our heart.
Yes.
Because when y'all see us doing all that traveling we be doing and staying in those nice resorts, not hotels, 3-4 bedroom resorts on the beach, all kind of amenities, it is because of Luxury Vacations.
They hook us all the time. Now, Luxury Vacations, their slogan or their motto is over things. I absolutely love that.
Oh, that's right.
Now, they are 100% Black-owned.
Come on here.
Come on, clap it up.
Come on here.
Full service travel agency. Now, when you go there to book, if you or the Lit TV off of your next booking, so find Luxury at Luxury Vacations or just website at luxuryvacations.com and vacations.
Now, let me make sure, because I want to make sure y'all heard everything she said about Luxury Vacations, who they are, because I don't want to make sure her mic didn't go out at any point. Can y'all shoot me a thumbs up? All of you guys shoot me a thumbs up if you heard everything she said nice and clear. Shoot me a thumbs up.
I can say it all over again. Not a problem.
Hurry up. Shoot the thumbs. Real quick.
Luxury Vacations.
So while we're waiting on them to shoot the thumbs and let me know that they could hear it. Please tell everyone that you are a licensed real estate
professional in the state of Florida.
Come on here.
Yes, I am a licensed. All of your buy a home, sell a home. This. Find me. I am Weston. I am.
Mike,
shameless plug.
John Miller just told me your mic's going out.
My mic is going out? Oh,
so
no.
whenever you talk, you need to be looking into that microphone and not off to the side, because John Miller said it's going out.
I got you.
So with that being said, Charity, I think you got some news to share.
I do. Now, in today's news, or as we call it, this is our tea session. I sip my tea. You guys can go and grab yours, or make sure to have it every time, because Thursday night we are going to sip our tea. Now, former boxing champion Floyd Mayweather has offered to pay for George Floyd and memorial service. Family has accepted the offer. Now, Mayweather has been in touch with the family personally, according to his promoter. Now, he will handle the cost for the 9th, Floyd's home in Houston, as well as other expenses. Now, Floyd, for those who don't know, is a black man who died May 25th after a white Minneapolis officer pressed his knee to Floyd's neck while Floyd was handcuffed that he couldn't breathe. His death has sparked protests in Minneapolis and around the country, some of which have become violent. Now, former Minneapolis police officer who pressed his knee to George Floyd's neck has been charged with a more serious count of second-degree murder, and the 3 officers during the killing were charged with aiding and abetting second-degree murder. Now, these unfortunate events caused many to cry out. Even celebrities such as Ariana Grande, Washington, Ellen Pompeo from Grey's Anatomy, and Fox. Jamie Foxx attended the Minneapolis conference proud about George Floyd's death. Now, in other news, there are companies, are Black Lives Matter movement, even Fashion Nova, they're the clothing retailer, and they have committed to donating $1 million over organizations, including Black Lives Matter, NAACP, Legal and Education Fund, and Your Rights Camp. Etsy, we all know Etsy. They are the craft and e-commerce site announced on Instagram. They are going to be donating $500,000 to the Equal Justice Initiative and $500,000 to the philanthropy Black-led movement. Etsy is also going to match its employee donation. Now, YouTube left a statement on their page that they stand in solidarity against racism and violence. When members of our community hurt, we all hurt. YouTube said, we're pledging $1 million in support of efforts to address social justices. Last but not least, Tom's shoe brand released a 2-part statement on Instagram outlining its support of the Black Lives Matter movement, announcing a donation of $100,000 to organizations working to end racial injustice, recommendations for people to follow, and organizations to support. Did you have anything that you want to shout out? Okay. Now, also, changing paces here. It's been a while. How many Costco shoppers out there do we have? I know I'm one of them. Now, it's been a while since Costco shoppers have been able to snack on as many samples as their hearts desired while browsing the massive aisles. But like some of those tastes are going to be making a comeback. Costco suspended food sampling over coronavirus concerns back in March. Now, Costco stores are planning to reduce the popular shopping perks soon. However, the typical grab and go that we're used to it's not going to be happening. The CFO, Richard Galanti, announced that they can't tell you the exact time. It's going to be mid-June. It's just not going to be what we're used to. Never to worry. Costco is coming back with the. Also, I was in Target the other day, and I'm like, hey, where's the popcorn? Because I love the popcorn. Target popcorn is never coming back. Not that it had anything to do with the coronavirus. They put it everywhere, and it's all clothing in the aisles. So no, Target popcorn. Little sports news. The NBA took the step toward returning to play for the 2019. Now, I know my son and my husband and many other people out there are very excited about this. NBA owners on Thursday approved a plan to and a full playoff schedule, which includes potential play-in game for the 8th seed at the ESPN Wide World of Sports complex in Orlando. The proposal developed in conversations, feedback, and input from owners, NBA executive, commissioners. Now, the season is scheduled to resume July 29th, again, with teams reporting to Orlando in early July. If everything falls into place, the season is going to resume after a 2+ week training camp. It will include 8 regular season games, possible play-in games, then the 16-team playoff. The 22 teams will include 9 from the Eastern Conference and 13 from the Western Conference. This has been your tea for tonight.
I tell y'all what.
There's a lot going on.
I don't know, but I'll tell you this much. I can't wait till basketball season start back. I know that much. Listen,
I'm not that anxious.
I heard everything you said. All that was good. But I know one thing, I can't wait the basketball start back. How many of y'all out there can't wait the basketball start? I think all the fellas in this place can't wait the basketball start back. That was good stuff, though. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Isn't it cool, y'all, that all of the different companies
Yes.
are stepping up?
Celebrities
Are stepping up. You know what I mean? And getting behind the cause. I think that, you know, an injustice to one group of people is an injustice to all people. And when you see, you know, companies standing up behind and saying, you know, racism is wrong or Black lives do matter, I think it's huge. And I think every company should do it. Now, here's the other thing. For those of you guys who own these major corporations that we support, Black support heavily, you hadn't said anything, you know what I mean, a press release or something to let people know that, hey, you won't tolerate it either, I think is necessary and should be done as well.
It's good stuff, though.
Y'all let me know. I think her mic should be good by now. Let's see. Hopefully it's good. Elbow, cough, cough. My brother's on acting crazy. John Miller, the Jam Cam. Matter of fact, y'all, we got a new segment that we're getting ready to do.
Oh, that's
it's called the
good.
Jam Cam.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, my homeboy John Miller is doing the Jam Cam. He's on with us now. Let's go ahead and go to that segment, producer. I'm excited about this next segment, y'all.
Hey,
check
this
it out.
is John Allen Miller. I'm an old friend of VC's, and it's an honor to be a part of The Lit Show and to kick off a brand new segment tonight. It's called the Jam Cam. That's my initials, John Allen Miller. And with the Jam Cam, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna get some honest, candid, and spur-of-the-moment responses when I ask folks what comes to their mind when they hear the message of the day. And today's message is delay is not a denial. Now that's a message immediately hit home with me and my story, and it resonated well with the folks that I asked, but what was interesting, all of their answers were completely different. So here's what they had to say when I asked, what comes to mind when you hear delay is not a denial?
What does delay is not denial mean to you? Or what's an example you think?
So if you're playing basketball, the first time, like when you shoot it, the guy blocks it. Then you get the rebound back, and then you shoot it, and then you make it.
I like it.
Delay is not a denial. You know, when I hear that statement, the first thing that comes to my mind is delayed gratification. And any artist or entrepreneur that's working towards their dream, you know, they all must understand that it doesn't happen overnight. And it takes years of hard work and sacrifice and dedication to your craft to get to where you want to be.
Delay is not denial. You know, as a woman, a lot of us feel like at a certain age we should be married and have a family, but sometimes that comes later. And although I actually was married, I thought I had it all and I thought that I was so happy, but unfortunately I wasn't. So I am now divorced, I am single, I moved to a new city, Nashville, which I love, and I am happier now than I have ever been in my life. And it's not about that timeline that everyone, you know, thinks about. Everything comes at your own pace. So delay is not denial.
It's the relationship that I have. It's not, no, it's not right now. So that's all the things I work for. If I can't have it now, it's not, no, it's not right now. Just a delay.
Delay is not denial. Let's take, for example, what's going on now with the protests, the marches, everyone out talking about the injustices that are going on. Because I and many other people have delayed and that we have not jumped in going to the marches right away does not mean that we're denying what is going on. Perhaps we were delaying figuring out what we can do, and then we're going to take action. So we're not denying what is going on. We're simply delaying to figure out where we can fit in, what we can do to help.
My feelings on delay is not denial, is delay sometimes is needed to wait for the right timing, the right space, the right moment for what you are trying for to come to light. So just because things are taking longer does not mean that they're not going to happen.
Appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoyed the first ever Jam Cam. I'm John Allen Miller, and you're watching The Lit Show.
Very nice.
Man, that was
Very, very nice.
powerful. That was
That was
powerful.
great.
We trying out a new segment with John Miller, man, and I think we're gonna
Jam.
the Jam Cam, right? Jam Cam, John Allen Miller, and so we're excited about that. We'll see. We're gonna actually take it to a whole nother level. But that was the first one, and I thought the first one was darn
I
good.
think that was great.
I like the guy,
message, too.
the message too. Yeah, the guy said that, when it comes to, it may seem like we're denying what's going on with the racism and joining them at the protests. And he was like, it's not that we're denying it. Maybe we're just delayed in figuring out how the best way for us to show our support.
You even said that as well. You know, that was your take, not just because everybody's jumping and hopping and doing stuff right now. Just maybe take some time to figure out exactly, execute a proper plan.
Come on.
Yep.
Well, we're getting ready for our guest, Mr. Harold Lefty Williams. I know that the wife is not going to hang out with us because we're going to talk back. He's a basketball guy. And
Yeah,
she
I don't want any part of it.
Whatever. She want to do the basketball stuff, so she'll come back on after me and Lefty do our thing. But just hang out with us. Don't leave, y'all. Hang out for a quick moment. Let us get everything together, and then we'll be right back.
Business owners, is your business signed up to iShopBlack.com? This is the hottest spot for Black-owned businesses and professionals. Get discovered by consumers and make more money. It's just that simple. Visit iShopBlack.com and get signed up today.
iShopBlack.com.
Harold Lefty Williams has tasted success on the basketball court and in life. But his journey was far from easy.
Well, I grew up in Jersey City, New Jersey. I started in the projects, Montgomery Street projects. My mom did the best that she could. 8 of us, there's 5 sisters. I have 2 brothers, one on my father's side, but my mom also took care of him. My father was in and out of my life. I was mentally and physically abused at the hands of my father. He was an alcoholic. And I'd go to school, at times with a closed eye. I remember in the 3rd grade, I have my sunglasses on, and the teacher say, take your glasses off. And what I'm doing is I'm making jokes because I don't want to take them off and reveal as a black eye. So the easy way out for me was to joke and be ultimately thrown out of the classroom.
You.
Amen.
And so here you are, because we got like 2.5 minutes.
Okay.
and because I want everybody to know how you got Lefty.
Okay.
So here you are, following this faith walk, and it looks like you have stepped back, but it's really a setup to step forward.
Absolutely. So basically,
Lefty.
It's gonna be down today.
All right, y'all, welcome back. Thank my sponsors. Thank you, sponsors, for holding the Lit Show down. The commercials that you see were from our sponsors. And so we really do appreciate everyone who helps to make this show take place. And as I promised, we have the man with us on air live, my brother, my friend, Harold Williams. What's up, bro? Welcome to the show.
What's up, bro? What's going on? Thank you for having me, bro.
No, man. Thank you for taking our time, man. Thank you for taking our time. Harold Williams is your name, but let's just be real, man. I call you Lefty. Everybody call you Lefty.
Yeah. Everybody called me Lefty, known in over 30 countries as Lefty.
Lefty, not Harold Williams.
Yeah.
So the name, we'll get into the name. We'll get into how you get the name Lefty. But the show, obviously, Lit TV stands for Loving, Learning, and Leveraging Information Together. And I always try to make sure that, man, people leave the show after watching enlightened, you know what I mean? A little bit better than they were before they start watching the show. And I always talk about the mere fact, man, you don't have to be born with the silver spoon in your mouth. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to have it all handed to you or laid out for you to be successful in life. As a matter of fact, most people who are successful come from rough starts. You know what I mean? And when I think about the ultimate example bro, of somebody who just excelled in life and doing amazing things, and you would think that they came up on the right side of the track and everything was just handed to them, is you. And that's not the case. And so let's start with just, let's talk, bro. Like where you're from? Jersey, yes?
Yep, Jersey City, New Jersey.
Yeah, born and raised.
Born and raised. Family, my mother was there. My father was in and out of my life. I was mentally and physically abused at the hands of my father. As a child, I thought it was because he didn't like me, or I thought it was anger issues, but my father was suffering from addiction to alcohol, and I later learned addiction to heroin. Alcohol, he tried to, fight in and out of different rehabs, but then later that heroin was that got him, and unfortunately, it ended up getting me. And I tell people that you can make it because not just because I made it, but because I made it while living, a nightmare. So trying to dream while living a nightmare is extremely difficult.
Wow. Hold on, bro. Say that again. Trying to dream while
living a nightmare.
Wow.
Yeah. Most people have nightmares in their dreams, but the average person may sleep. If you're taking a nap, 15, 20 minutes, if you're taking, a night's rest, maybe 8 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours. And then that nightmare's over because you wake up and you can share it, you can talk about it, but you go on living a normal life. Well, for me, my nightmare was, 20 plus hours in the day. And the only time I could dream outside of talking to myself was actually going to sleep.
Wow.
I had very few nightmares as a kid. So the grace in that was God keeping me enough not to let me dream nightmares, because he knew what I was going through and in the physical when I wasn't asleep.
So when you really understand that dreams generally, and this is scientifically proven, dreams generally are cultivated by things that are happening in life.
Correct.
We actually dream things that we have experienced or seen on TV or heard in life. But you're telling me it was the opposite for you. Instead of having to deal with or relive the things that you're experiencing in life while you're asleep, you were able to have dreams, better dreams, positive dreams while you were asleep, and then deal with the negative things. Wow.
Right. And it's crazy because I was my favorite conversation. Some people don't like to hear that, but I had to become my favorite conversation because while my mom did the best she could, she gave me Jesus. Well, as a kid, you can't really relate to Jesus. You hear people talk about it. You hear them give you scriptures. You sing songs about it. As a kid, I got up and I testified about it.
Right.
But it wasn't until I became 19 that I figured out what I said yes to at 9. Right? That's when he became real to me and flesh and started to work in me and to show me and navigate my life. Don't go left, go right, turn around, pause, wait, okay, hide behind here. But at that time, it was great in theory. I understood it. I can process it information-wise. But the truth of the matter is, if we're being honest, is that while I knew all of those things, my situation didn't change. So we're talking about God is able, but I couldn't understand that he was able until I was able to process and understand how even through the storm, he yet kept me. But a 9-year-old kid, a 10-year-old kid, a 12-year-old kid can't understand it.
So you're at a young age holding on to your faith. Is that the thing that you use to kind of medicate all of the things that you were going through? What was your outlet? Like, what helped you, during the hours that, you are awake? What helped you cope? What helped you make it through those times?
To be totally honest with you, man, I processed it differently, and it took me a while to understand what I was doing, to understand, even as a 30-plus-year-old man, that I got to go back and fix those things and heal some of those things that I thought was healed. But it wasn't until I revisited those things that, no, I wasn't in the street selling drugs, but I dealt with other issues. No, I wasn't gangbanging, but I dealt with other issues, right? And some of those issues was, I literally would get in trouble and get punished 8 days out the week. Now catch what I just said. We both know that there's only 7 days.
Yeah, there's only
bro.
7, bro. Right.
Right. But some kind of way,
You managed to do it 8.
I managed to do it 8, you know. And so in my mind, to make it make sense to me, I'd act out in other ways because I was already getting in trouble for things that I really wasn't necessarily guilty of. And so when I got to the schoolhouse, I knew when I got home I was already getting in trouble. So some kind of psychotic way, I was justifying it. So now this 3rd grade teacher, she getting ready to get the business.
Right.
This 1st grade teacher, she getting ready to get the business. And as a result of that, I got left back in the 1st grade, right? Then I repeated it, I passed it, got to 2nd grade, I passed it. In the 3rd grade, I got left back in the 3rd grade. I repeated it and then I passed it. And it wasn't until, because I felt like I was justifying this, right?
So hold on. Let me ask you this, bro. Let me ask you, so just for clarity, when you say you felt like you was justifying it, you're going to get in trouble anyway. Now this gives it a reason for you to be in trouble.
Gives it a reason.
I got
gives it a
you.
reason
I
to be in
got
trouble. So, and you and I never even chopped this up before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so this is like breaking news for you, and you've known me for over almost 13 years. So,
hold on. That's the power of the Lit TV show, y'all. I just want y'all to know. The Lit TV show brings it out. No, go ahead, bro.
yeah, it does. So, I mean, so I thought that I was justifying this in my own mind. So now when I get in trouble, when I hear, you know, a parent say these words, strip, and I don't mean strip you of just television, right?
Right.
Strip you of the ability to sit on the porch or in front of the door. I'm talking about strip, take your clothes off, now you're getting this spanking.
Right.
And I never used to get punished. I used to get sentenced. So a normal kid may get, so a normal kid would get on punishment for a day, a week, 2 weeks. I would get sentenced 30 days, 60 days, 90 days.
Wow.
Right? And the punishment today's world is no tablet, no iPad, no Xbox, no PlayStation.
Right.
Give me that cell phone, right? Well, those beepers had just arrived when I was, you know what I'm saying? So,
you still got a beeper, bro?
Yeah, no. And I couldn't even afford that, no way. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy, but I want everyone to hear this because God is able, right? I don't feel for Lefty, right? There's some things that I've worked out. There's some things that I'm yet working out, but God is so faithful.
Yeah.
My punishment was sit on the bed, leave this door open. You better be where I told you to be when I come back or it's going to get worse. And my parents didn't play, okay? You come out the room to use the bathroom, to eat, and you're back to your room. So I'm used to, you know, what do they call it? Consolidatory confinement, right?
Right.
So this time out that the whole world on, man, this was my norm growing up. you know what I'm saying? And so through those days, I used those times to occupy my mind, to be creative within myself. You know, I'd be lying to you if I said I spent time crying, that I didn't spend time crying, because I did. I just didn't spend long time crying. So now, how do I help my wife understand? I've been married almost 15 years. September will be 15 years. Been with this lady over 18 years, right? How do you help her understand the necessary of pain? We can't cry long, right? We can understand and we can process grief, but even in the midst of battle where they're shooting, if you get hit, you don't stop running for cover.
Right.
Or you don't load up and try to react to get out of that situation.
Right.
Standing still is not an option. So even in my pain, God was teaching me how to move and how to operate to be able to dream. Okay, I can't watch television. I can't play Sega, right? I got to sit on this bed, but my mind can be free. The body's arrested, but the mind, I can create and I can navigate through places. So I dream, I'd envision myself driving in the car that I wanted to drive in. So my kids laugh about this all the time, and my wife laughed too. I remember being a kid wanting to have an MPV, a Mazda MPV. Y'all gotta Google this little minivan, right? That was the truck for me, right?
Right.
You know, and it's funny because, you know, I've driven a lot of lavish cars, and that's like that's what I dreamt. Like
That's what you wanted, bro. MVP.
Yeah, right. But God had bigger things for me. I'm thinking MPV, just like, So I envisioned myself going to the airport in my MPV, right? Parking, dropping off my luggage, going to the gate, getting on a plane, getting seated, buckling myself, imagining myself, let's go to Portugal. Well, what's in Portugal? I don't know, but I know that's a country. I've heard of it before.
Now this is as a young man. This is young.
This is as a young man while on punishment. Yes, fact.
Wow.
Right. Wow. And so I didn't allow my mind to be arrested. You know, and if it was going to be arrested, it was going to be arrested with vision. So we know that we have to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. So every time I was confined to punishment, I renewed my mind to creativity. I didn't know then the Holy Spirit was yet working, because I just told you that while I knew Jesus, I didn't know him in the way that I know him today. Right. But I know now, looking back, that God had his hand on me, and I knew failure wasn't an option, because I already saw what failure could do. I was already living in poverty, Section 8 housing, food stamps, welfare, all those things. Right. And I watched, I knew being a gangbanger wasn't an option, because that was dead or in jail. Well, I didn't want none of those things. I knew that jail was a cage. I knew that drugs was a poison. Why? I saw what it did to my father. I saw at times when he was high, I knew I wouldn't get in trouble. I learned to read body language. Good God Almighty. So what God gave me early was very powerful for me today. And you have to understand this, because he gave me creativity.
Yeah.
While being confined to one small place.
Wow.
Right? He gave me the creative place to dream and to have vision, but he also taught me how to read body language. He taught me how to move through rooms while having a strategy, while yet saying no. Because I knew, had I talked back, it was another slap.
Wow.
It was another punishment. So he had to teach me how to stand still and let him fight my battle, not to change my situation right away, but to change something in me that would eventually change my situation.
So what I hear you saying, bro, which is so powerful, is that all of the circumstances and scenarios that you found yourself in, as negative as they were teaching moments. They were the proving ground, the training ground for the success that you have today.
Yeah, they were for the success that I have today, and they were broken moments that I thought the enemy was using to kill me and to sink me deeper. But they were tools in my tool belt that God was letting me collect, that I wasn't going to use right then, but he knew I'd use 10, 15 years later.
Wow.
He knew I need that.
Wow.
Right? And so while I still have the scar, I no longer have the pain. And I have a wealth of experience of now knowing he was there with me all the time. He was there, right? I remember crying, just saying, man, God, why do you keep letting me go through this? But he was, okay, no, we ain't gonna think about that right now. I was a horrible basketball player. People who came up with me in Jersey City will tell you I was not the best basketball player. They will tell you that. Were you doing all of this time? Was that something that you just loved to do? Was it like a hobby, or was the thing that everybody did in the neighborhood? Like, how'd you end up in basketball, period? No. So this is how I understand and how I process time and relationships. And this is why I value relationships more than anything, because you're looking at a kid who wanted the love of his father. You're looking at a kid who wanted the protection from his mother. I had none of those things. Right. But she gave me Jesus. Jesus, and so legalistical. It was needed, right? Because we do need Jesus.
Yes.
But that's the spiritual side. And sometimes we could be so spiritual that we earthly no good.
That's good.
There's two pieces to it that you need, especially between the ages of 5 and 10. Between those small ages, especially before they go to kindergarten, the kid only cares, do you love him?
Right.
Do you love her?
Right.
Once you get to the teenage ages, you want to knock their head off, because now they no longer care if you love them. Not that they don't love you, but now it's, do I love you? Do I
Come
got
on,
time
man.
for you?
Come on.
You
Wow.
see what I'm saying?
That's a mouthful.
And it's not into those college moments that it come back full circle, and they're like, oh, I didn't realize Mama and Daddy actually did this to
Wow.
make sure that I was safe, to make sure that I was fed, to make sure I was clothed.
Yeah.
Then they start to break down a small piece of, oh, that's what you did for me. Then they start to understand it. They don't fully understand it until they get married and have children. But what I'm saying all of that to say this is that, as a kid, I wanted my father's love, right? I wanted my mother's protection. I didn't have any of that. So for me, what can I do, right? I remember one time it was so hot in the summer, they used to turn the fire hydrants on, right? In my community, we ain't had no pools like that. We couldn't get, maybe go to a YMCA here and there, right? But even then, you had to pay $2 to get in. We didn't have that, right? We trying to pay rent. So the firemen would come and turn the sprinklers off. They got tired of us when they left. We turned it back on, so they put a cap on it. They poke holes in it. Well, at least if they're gonna turn it on, at least they ain't using that much money, that much water in the city.
Right.
There's, So I was punished one day, and my parents let me look out the window. Okay, I look out the window this day. There's people, and I told you, I've learned to be present and pay attention to detail of things. I'm looking out this window, and I'm sure. First of all, I was on the 3rd floor. So now catch me real quick, right? Go with me. Don't be so. Just catch me, people. I'm on the 3rd floor, so I'm already higher than the thing that I'm looking out on. Right. When you higher, you can see a broader perspective. If you ever been in a plane, the higher you climb, you can see the city in greater detail.
That's right.
Right. So I'm on top. I'm looking out the window. There's people playing double dutch, hopscotch. People in the hydrant. Playing in the water. I remember people walking on the block. Stop! I can't get wet. They don't care. They picking you up, putting you in. And then I look in front of the door and there's a tree. And what do I see? There's wood, right? There's an old little hoop, and there's people playing, right? And I'm like, oh, they playing basketball. Oh, out of everything that I was looking at, what caught my attention the most was people passing the ball, coming together to play basketball. When I got off punishment, for whatever reason, that rim wasn't there. I didn't have a hoop, right? But in the back of my place on Gardner Avenue, there was a shack, right? Burned down building.
Yeah.
I go, and what I had to learn at a young age, you have to use what you have, not use what you don't have. I didn't have a hoop, but I had a hammer. I didn't have nails, but there was a shack behind the house.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a backboard, but that place is already burned down, so they ain't gonna be missing some little piece of baseball board.
Right.
Went to the store around the corner on Monticello, to the Spanish store. Hey, I know y'all got milk. They put it in the milk crate. He gave me one. Right? What does he want to do with this? Everybody ain't gonna get it. He couldn't see it. To him, it was garbage. To me, it was a basketball ring.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It was a piece of the puzzle of what I needed. Flipped it over, hammered it out. I now have a hoop. Right? I didn't have name brand shoes, and I was embarrassed because of the holes that I had in the shoes that I had, but I had church shoes. Right? So I didn't really want to mess up my other shoes because make them worse because I got to go to school all the time. But if I'm outside practicing in my church shoes, that's only a couple times. I'm very rare do I get a chance to go out anyway. So I'm going to use this moment to practice in my church shoes.
Yeah.
But I had a vision. And without a vision, people perish. And when you start talking about dreams, not to get all technical, but if you look up the word dreams, it's a series of images that take place involuntarily in the mind. Your brain is constantly soaking up information.
Right.
That's why I tell my kids and my wife and my family, we have to channel what we see, especially before you go to bed, right? So now I have a hoop, and I wasn't good. I used to shoot from back here. People would laugh, but I had something, and I had 2 things that the average athlete don't have.
What's that?
Average athlete don't have.
This is
really
good.
3 things. Okay, number 1, I had creativity. Okay. Number 2, I had drive and passion. Number 3, I was already losing. I was losing the battle with friends, didn't have many friends. I was losing the battle with love. I didn't feel like I had love, right? I was losing the battle with the ability to be around a populated of people of my age, kids. I just told you I spent time on punishment, right? It felt like jail to me.
Yeah.
So I had a no quit attitude. I wasn't turning back. So whatever I set my mind to do, I was going to do it with passion. I wasn't going to quit, and I was going to be creative.
Yeah.
And so out of those things, I was a basketball player. You couldn't tell me that. Now, it didn't look like that when I was playing with other kids, but I knew that if I took some time, I'd get it. And eventually I did.
So, bro, let me ask you. So back then, let's just talk in today's vernacular. Back then, you were garbage, bro.
Yeah, I was garbage, bro. I was
That's funny now because I know you now.
Green. I was Draymond Green without the shot, without the dribbling ability, and without the. I had the trash talk, right? I lived in the hood, so you had to talk. You couldn't be no punk. They whoop all over you.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I had the ability to rebound. I was very aggressive. I needed somewhere to channel that anger that was happening on the inside of me. So that became my therapy session. Basketball became.
So how do we get from? Let me put this picture up. I want y'all to see this picture, and then you tell me what age are you in this picture. Y'all take a look at this. What age are you in this picture, bro? Is that Stephon? Who is that?
That's Stephon Marbury. Yep. And
What?
Pocono, Pennsylvania. That was the end of his rookie season. So that's 1996. I was 14 years old, the summer of my 9th grade year, getting ready to be a 10th grader.
So how did that happen? Like, how you end up with Stephon Marbury? Was he like in the neighborhood? Like, what? Talk to me. How you go from being garbage to now on the court with Stephon Marbury?
Okay, so I ended up being cut by the varsity team my freshman year. The coach was Kyle Anderson. You might not know who he is, but you know who his son is. His son is Kyle Anderson Jr., who plays for the Memphis Grizzlies. He's from Jersey City.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
He was drafted by the San Antonio Spurs. So he cut me. Coach Kyle cut me. Right?
Wow.
He knew I was a great rebounder, but that was it. We don't need him. Send him to JV. We'll work him up when he's ready.
Yeah.
I took so offense to that. Right? And I said, okay, I'm going to show him. I ended up leaving that school. I get to go to St. Aloysius, private school, Catholic school. They give me a scholarship, partial. The mayor of Jersey City, Brett Shumler, gives me a scholarship, right? Then I'm already a peer educator at Horizon Health Center, 714 Bergen Avenue, Jersey, New Jersey, right? I take that money, which wasn't much. I was making maybe $70, $75 every 2 weeks, right? And here, Mom, take that. Put that towards I want to be in this school. I get there that summer, getting ready to be a 10th grader. They say, hey, man, I got a chance for you to go up to camp if you don't mind being a busboy. I don't know what a busboy is, but I heard camp.
Right.
And camp to me was you ain't got to be in Jersey City for that summer. No punishment, no physical abuse. Oh, sign me up.
Yeah, escape. Right? Yeah, I'm out.
Escape. I get up to camp, and to be a busboy, whenever there was meals, you had to work in the kitchen. Dishes, set, prepared, table, stuff like that. And they pay your tuition to be at camp. So things are going well. I'm working hard, keeping my head down, keeping my hand to the plow, working hard, do what I do. Still not one of the best players at camp, but getting better every day. Guys would take breaks and get in the pool. I'd be shooting free throws. Guys would be downstairs in the lounge watching television. I'd be running sprints. I'd be picking people brains like Dave Hoppler. You can Google him. He was a shooting coach for the Seattle Supersonics, been in the NBA many years. Bro, I watched you shoot 100 free throws and only miss once. Show me that. Okay, so what you want to do is take your shooting foot, you're left-handed, take your left foot, line it up with the middle of the rim. Okay, make sure your shooting hand is lined up with that leg, hold your follow through, keep it. Oh, what I was getting was, I told you, I've always paid attention to detail, always.
Right.
I was grabbing tools, boom, okay, woo, And while I was not yet one of the best, I'm out at camp with like 100 of the best players in the country. While I'm not one of the best, I didn't understand then, I know it now, God was giving me access to a platform where people can see me. So Bob and Rob Kennedy owned Pocono, what's now called Hoop Group. And they said to me, there's a camp coming up. I can't tell you what it is, but I think it'd be really good if you stayed. Would you mind staying? If you're welcome to stay if you want. I was like, sure. What else am I going to do, right? I almost didn't. My grandfather brother, my Uncle Al, died. Funeral, my mom and them was getting ready to come and get me and make way for me to head back. Something on the inside of me said, he's already gone, bro. You got to keep going. In that young age, I knew then that, let the dead bury the dead.
Wow. Wow.
I didn't know that scripture, but in that moment, I knew at that age that God was saying, "Now you can do for him. This is gonna help you." I stayed, and I'm glad I did. At the end of the camp, before that camp started, he ends up telling me what the camp was, who was involved, and why he wanted me to stay. He believed in me. So I'll never forget a white Mercedes-Benz come pulling up, two-door. And out of it, this guy with an S chain with slippers. I'm like, that's Steph Marbury. Yeah, he just finished his rookie year and finished second in the running for Rookie of the Year next to Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson had got it. So it was arguably the greatest rookie class ever, but that's another conversation for another day. Kobe was in it. Ray Allen was in it.
Oh, yeah. It was definitely the greatest. No
Steve
ifs, ands,
Nash
or
was
buts.
in it.
Yeah.
He was there. So I rush him, and I'm like, hey, man, and I dap him. And the first thing he says, even if you look at the picture, my hand's just hanging this much past his hand. He has very small hands. And his first words to me was, God damn, boy, you got some big mother effing hands. Hey, bro, come here. He had his brothers telling everybody, come here. And they all lining their hands up with mine. How old are you, dude? 17? Because you see, I'm taller than him.
Right.
No, I'm 14. I'll be 15 in October. What? I said, I just want an autograph. I rushed him before everybody else can get to him. He said, I'll tell you what, man, not right now because everybody else going to want it. He says, we're going to take a picture this week. You get MVP of this camp, and I'll sign whatever you want. Long story short, man, I don't have to tell you that
Right.
that put me in a whole nother drive.
Right.
Right. People I played against who was guarding me, we were playing for different reasons. You know what I'm saying? I had to get his autograph, you know. So my team goes to the championship. We win. I got gypped for All-Star. I wasn't voted an All-Star, right? I was not voted MVP that week. I was voted most improved player at the camp. Why was this important? Okay? Because the other coaches that was there had seen me all summer. They can dialogue with him and say, bro, you have to see where this kid started. That's number one. People talking about you. That's favor, by the way.
Right.
So the next thing is he's an NBA player, obviously have access to the network and whatever. All right. But the he was, he saw something in me to say, you didn't get MVP, but I'm going to sign whatever you want. On top of that, let's take this picture. On top of that, go ahead down to the store, get whatever shoes you want. At the time, he was signed with N1, right? I didn't get one. I brought back like 3 pairs of sneakers to the hood, right? I didn't keep any of them. I just gave it away. I wanted people to know. To this day, I still got all of the cards that he signed for me, all of his, you know what I'm saying? But he put me on the network. He let people know, nah, that kid got something, you know? And I left going back to Jersey City, not ranked in the country, but ranked in the state. And I knew there's a possibility that if I stayed focused, things would change for me. And it did. I scored 1,000 points in 3 years on varsity, you know, just 3 seasons, 985 rebounds. I won a conference championship. I got my small school to the state semifinals of New Jersey. Now, a lot of these states, let me break this down for y'all so you can understand how powerful this was.
Yeah.
A lot of states, definitely in Indiana, some places in Chicago, right? This is why I love New York and I love New Jersey, because they don't do this. But a lot of schools do this. They have broken up the idea of one state champion. Oh, I played in this division. We were this division state champs, that division state champs. Nah, man, where I'm from, they don't go down like that.
Right.
There's one state champion in New Jersey, one state champion in New York, while I love where I'm from. So out of population of 8 million people in the state of New Jersey, right? Out of all the schools in the state of New Jersey, I got to the Final Four. I got to the semifinals of the state championship and almost won, right? Which helped me because I became the 3rd best player in the state of New Jersey, which helped me because Providence came after me, right? They're in the Big East, right? But I was stuck in a delay. And around that time, Holy Spirit let me know, man, a delay ain't a denial.
Say that again. What?
He let me know a delay is not a denial.
A delay is not a denial.
Yeah, a delay not a denial. At that age, I'm like, huh? Wait, what? Yeah, no. It's just delayed. It's not denial. It's not now. Wrong timing. It ain't no. And at that time, it's crazy even thinking about it. And I tell my kids who's in the industry, you know, my son, my baby boy, through our foundation, we're partnered with the NBA by way of the LA Clippers, and he push out content for them as well as his own YouTube stuff. And he's a really good player. My oldest son, Allen Houston, came to see him to just see, is this kid legit? Allen Houston's the assistant general manager to the New York Knicks. So, you know, God does things for a reason, but we take the whooping for it.
Right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
But I realized then that it was just delayed. It wasn't denied. So I wasn't supposed to even make it. So my SAT scores are low. My GPA was high enough, and I thought, based off of the NCAA clearance house, the GPA had to balance out the SAT, and you can still get Prop 48 or whatever it's called. What they can still get you. So at the end of my state tournament game, the coach from Providence says, we're not going to offer you a scholarship. So not only did I lose, I'm sad about that, I get bad news. I didn't know that God had a ram in the bush. A guy named Ted Fiore, Division I coach at St. Peter's College with the MAC conference, kind of like mid D1, not that major, not a Duke, but still things are possible to happen, Division I.
Right.
He gets fired from this job, takes a Division III job at Montclair State University, and then comes after me. Here's the problem, the SATs, how am I going to get in, even to just college period? So he puts it to where they put me on academic probation the first year. Well, as God would have it, I got on academic probation the first semester because I made the dean's list.
Wow.
True story, And then to fast forward, I win Defensive Player of the Year as a freshman, Defensive Player of the Year as a junior. I get invited to combine camp. I go through to try to make the league. It doesn't happen for me, but God still had his hand on me. I play, in England, play in Luxembourg, Germany. I play in Nottingham, England, plays in Misawa, Japan, play for different show teams. Ultimately, 2007, my wife says, let's give this another chance. I go back to the NBA Summer League in California. At the time, it was in Long Beach. Now they moved it to Vegas, and it didn't happen, but God set it up for me to run into, the Globetrotters, which signs me. I become the first ever left-handed showman in Globetrotter history, which is a miracle within itself, but it was because I was creative.
Yep.
I learned that a delay is not a denial. I learned that even in solitary confinement, which is being still, being stuck in a small situation,
right,
that God could use my mind to think out the box to get me out of that situation. He still kept my mind prepared and sharp while my body was yet confined.
Wow.
So eventually those shackles were broken off of me, and my body was able to catch up to my mind, where I was able to do creative and great things, which turned me into a great entrepreneur, to doing things in acting, to doing things as an executive producer in Hollywood, to helping my son become a Disney star, to help it's just so many things, but God.
Your story,
God.
bro. Your story is absolutely amazing. I mean, we're boys, so I've followed your work, man, for years, and just to see, all that you've done, all that the family's done, the kids, just the favor of God. Man, you flew me out, and I don't remember what year this was. I want to say it was in like 20.
You talking about Canada?
Yeah, Canada. What year was that?
2014.
2014. I was about to say 2014. You flew me out to Canada, man, me and the wife, for a week to be a part of your one of your shows you did, one of your basketball things you did in Port Alberni, Canada. And let me say, bro, that was just an amazing trip. Just the radio tour, the school tour. I mean, just all the stuff that we did. The red carpet that was laid out for us that week that we were there was just amazing. And just to see how God is taking you from, a little boy sitting in solitary confinement, you know what I mean, to around the world. Now, you said you were the first left-handed showman. Is that correct?
Globetrotter history. Yeah.
In Globetrotter history. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then now fast forward, you traveled the world, but fast forward, now you own your own basketball team.
Now I'm one of their biggest competitors, and I know they hate it.
Really?
Yeah. God made them make space for me. Let me tell you something. Anytime someone wrong you or do you wrong, you don't gotta speak words out your mouth, because I never speak negative about the Globetrotters. I never became a Globetrotter. God, I don't think I would have had the desire. I would have had the creative ability, but I don't think I'd had the passion and desire to create the Harlem Dreams, right? And so, God made them make room for me, right? My youngest son got a chance to be on NBC with Steve Harvey for Little Big Shots when he was hosting it, and that debuted to 8 million views. He had 12 million views total on social media, but it debuted to the largest show, the best show that the network has had in history. And I almost turned that down because I believed in what God had given me. And what I mean by that is I was appreciative of the opportunity, but we as God's children have to stop being appreciative of opportunity as much and learn to be in the moment and stand and take ground. We have to no longer be happy with being in rooms to being content that God has called us to be in rooms to create opportunity for ourselves and for others.
That's
It's
good.
a big difference.
That's good.
Sometimes you could be so appreciative of the opportunity that you miss being in position.
Wow. Wow.
Okay. And let me give you an example. So they wanted my son to do the show, and I said, well, he could do it, but I only want him to wear my Harlem Dreams gear, and I only want him to use a Harlem Dreams basketball. Well, they weren't going for it. Looked me straight in my face and said, yeah, that's not going to happen. I said, so if that's not going to happen, you might want to move on with another talent. They act boldly about it, but behind the scenes, they were worried. They were hoping I'd fold, but I was not as appreciative of the opportunity
Come on, man.
as I was of seizing the moment to take ground.
Wow.
That's like me punching a bully in the mouth, seeing them dizzy, and then letting them recover so they can keep bullying me.
Come on, man. Come on, bro.
Once they dizzy and you got them on the ropes, you got to get them. You got to knock them out, because once they're out the way, you've taken ground. It never was about killing or destroying the moment. It was about understanding and recognizing what God had given me and letting God lead me with my mouth and telling me what to say and when to say, so he can get the glory and I can get the desires of my heart.
Yeah.
So when they found out that I owned the trademark and I was able to prove my name's on the trademark, they went back with their legals, back and forth. Ultimately, when the show debuted on NBC, you saw my son in a Harlem Dreams t-shirt, like you can see with my Harlem Dreams shirt. You saw my son with his Harlem Dreams shorts, Harlem Dreams basketball, and the stage had banners, championship banners.
Yeah.
DJ, Harlem Dreams. The point I'm making is God will change his rules for you. God will change the plans for you. Things that shouldn't ordinary happen, God will happen, but you got to dare to dream. You can't get caught up in that delay. That delay is not a denial. And just because he made you change partners doesn't mean he changed his decision that he's made in reference to your desire.
Wow. Wow.
And I had to understand that. And I realized there's like this gap, right? And we as God's people have to remember the goal is to keep climbing. But sometimes we lose ground because we care about this gap. See this space? And we think that our friends and the people that they're here, right?
Yeah.
And so we feel bad and how they think we changed or this, that. So we figure closing the gap is to come to their level. That ain't what God called us to do. In this moment, you got to keep climbing. And those people, if they want to close the gap, they got to come to where you are.
That's good, man.
Now
That's
they
good.
have things that's valuable and resources that they can offer you. So you can constantly walk in circles. That's what I love about LeBron. I'm not the biggest LeBron James fan. I'm a huge Lakers fan. I'm a diehard Kobe fan. But what I like about LeBron is he made all of his friends do just that, come to where he was. He put them in position. Yeah, I'm the brand, but you got to want to do something with it. Rich Paul becomes an agent. Mav Carter runs the television business. This. You see what I'm saying? And so now people have proven themselves to be valuable. So now it went from having to, hey, let me get LeBron on the phone so he can do this deal, to now they respect his friends who are in the room and they can take ground. Not just for them, but create opportunities for their family members. And I don't think a lot of us as men or as women or as people of God take the opportunity to take ground. We're afraid. We're afraid of a door closing. Master P told me, he said, he left the Universal deal. They offered him $4 million. He got back on the plane with like maybe, I think, $1,000 left in his pocket. And his brother says, man, why didn't you take that deal? He said, man, if they offer me $4 million, how much you think I'm really worth?
Right.
We would have never got to see the full Master P, because him seeing his Shelby and seeing that delay made him go back into his creativity, his creative mind, get more creative, added to the passion and the drive, and now he became, almost a billionaire.
It's good.
And so that changed. Yeah.
It's good. Well, man, this has been amazing, man. I really appreciate you, taking the time out to chop it up with us here on Lit TV, bro. got nothing but love for you and them babies. Yeah, he's a father too, y'all. He got 3 beautiful babies, and my girl Shanifa, tell him I say hello, man, and hopefully I can get out to California. He's out in Cali, y'all, so hopefully I can get out to California and chop it up with you, and face to face. It's been some years, but we really, really appreciate you, man, taking out the time, bro. How can they find you? Let me ask you this: how can my viewers find you if they want to keep up with you, what you got going on? How can they get in touch with you?
Let me say this real quick, and then I'm gonna tie into that. So, out of all of God's goodness, my whole time I wanted to be an NBA player. I wanted to get to the NBA, and I just recently was accepted into the Retired Basketball Players Association, which are considered legends. The only way you can get into that is if you had played in the NBA, WNBA, or had been a certain prestigious Harlem Globetrotter. And I just went in yesterday.
Congratulations.
So, I'm really excited. Thank you, man. I'm really, really, really excited because God will change the plans for you, man. Sometimes God can mess it up and not break it, and then not break.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
You can mess
And
it
that's
up
what
and
he
then not break.
and then not break. Yeah.
Yeah.
So God's faithfulness. But if you want to get in touch with me, my foundation is the Harold Lefty Williams Dare to Dream Foundation. You can go to Dare, the number 2, the word dream, .xyz. That's not a joke. That's actually a domain. Dare to Dream .xyz. You know what I'm saying? We're completing the alphabet with the movement that we're doing.
That's
and
good.
You can go to harlemdreams.net. You can go to Lefty Williams 42 on all my social media, and just connect, get plugged in, and more importantly, man, stay connected with what's going on with this Vlad television moment, because there is players, and then there are seasoned players, and I like to think that Wes is definitely very much so seasoned. In many ways, I've always thought, bro, you were way ahead of your time.
Appreciate you, bro.
And I think we're now catching up to where you have already been, and God ain't done.
No doubt, man. Much love, bro. Much love.
Appreciate you. Oh, yeah.
Peace.
Dare to dream.
Dare to dream.
Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Welcome back. Wasn't that an amazing interview, an amazing story? If you guys tuned in late, you have to catch the replay of this once we post it later to the networks. Now, I'm going to close this thing out. Thank you, Harold Lefty Williams, for that wonderful interview. Now, I'm going to close it out with EC's Nuggets. I got a couple of nuggets for you, and the first 2 are questions. Questions for yourself. A delay is not a denial. That was the theme of today's show, or the topic of today's show. What if you are delayed where you are because there is a storm where you're headed? Ask yourself that. Number 2, what if you are being delayed because you need more preparation? Preparation to either perform or preparation to be able to receive what you're walking into. Now, the last statement: have peace, patience, and trust that in perfect timing, what you are desiring will come to you. A delay is not a denial. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you guys next time. Shout out to the producer. See you next Thursday on the Lit TV show.
We're viewer supported, so don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Edward Weston, our Instagram, E-C Weston, and our Facebook, E-C Weston. Also, let us know what you'd like us to talk about on upcoming shows. Wait. Stop the music. I almost forgot the most important thing. We need Liddy team members. If you'd like to help keep this show going, join the Liddy team by donating $20 or more via Cash App at $Lit TV show. And we'll recognize you live on next week's show. Okay, bring the music back. Next Thursday, 7 p.m. Be sure to tune in because you won't want to miss it. And until then, stay lit, my friends.